Have you noticed that your movements have lost that spark, that firmness they once had? That actions that used to be automatic, like getting up from a deep sofa, carrying groceries up the stairs, or even just bending down to play with your children or grandchildren, have transformed into small, constant reminders of the passing calendar. That feeling of vitality slowly draining from your muscles, that gradual loss of power that seems to be an inescapable consequence of age, represents one of the deepest and most universal anxieties we face. Scientists have given this condition a name, sarcopenia. And I want to be very clear, this goes far beyond a simple matter of appearance. It is a silent thief that directly attacks our autonomy, our quality of life, and ultimately, our ability to squeeze all the juice out of life. Millions of people simply resign themselves to it, accepting it as an unavoidable sentence of aging. But what would you think if I told you there's a secret, hidden in plain sight in the vegetable aisle? That nature, in its infinite wisdom, has given us an astonishingly powerful tool, a single vegetable, with the capacity not only to slow down, but to challenge this process, helping you rebuild the strength and resilience of your muscles. Imagine for a moment being able to reclaim that sense of vigor you thought you had lost forever, as if your body could turn back time and you could feel the energy of your 40s again. If this message resonates with you, if you are a person who proactively seeks to optimize your health and shield your independence for the years to come, I ask for a small gesture that is huge for us. Hit the like button right now and subscribe to our channel. Your support is the fuel that allows us to continue researching and sharing valuable content that, we hope, can make a real and positive difference in your day-to-day life. Don't wait. Join our community and accompany us on this journey of discovery. Smooth musical transition. To appreciate the true magnitude of the solution we are about to unveil, it is essential that we first dive into the depths of the problem. Sarcopenia, this loss of muscle mass and function, is a phenomenon far more complex than simply getting old. It is an incredibly intricate biological process with multiple intertwined causes. Think about this. Starting from our 30s, our body begins a natural loss of muscle mass ranging from 3% to 8% per decade, and this slope becomes much steeper after we turn 60. But what is really happening inside our body's machinery for this to occur? To begin with, we experience a genuine revolution in our hormonal balance. Anabolic hormones, which are the master builders responsible for constructing and repairing muscle tissue, such as testosterone, estrogen, and human growth hormone, HGH, begin a slow but steady decline over the years. This hormonal imbalance tips our body's metabolic scale towards catabolism. In simple terms, our body starts to prioritize the breakdown and disassembly of existing muscle proteins instead of the synthesis and creation of new tissue. It's as if our body's demolition crew starts working more hours than the construction crew. Added to this, the efficiency with which our body can process dietary protein becomes seriously compromised. You could be consuming the same amount of chicken, fish, or legumes as a 25-year-old, but your system no longer possesses the same ability to break down those proteins into their basic components, amino acids, and then transport and use them effectively to repair the microtears in muscle fibers that occur with daily activity. This hugely important phenomenon is known in the scientific world as anabolic resistance. The analogy is clear. You have a pile of high-quality bricks, the protein you eat, but the workers, the cellular mechanisms, have become slower, less coordinated, and less efficient in their job of building and repairing the muscular wall. As if that weren't enough, this scenario is compounded by a gradual reduction in the activity and number of our satellite cells. These cells are, in essence, the stem cells of our muscles. They remain in a dormant state, waiting for a signal to activate, multiply, and fuse with existing muscle fibers to repair them or to create new fibers, a process known as hypertrophy. With age, these satellite cells become hard of hearing. They respond with much less vigor to the stimuli that once activated them, like physical exercise, making the muscle's regenerative capacity enormously difficult. Another key player in this cellular drama is chronic low-grade inflammation, a concept that gerontologists have dubbed inflammaging. As we age, our immune system can become dysregulated, maintaining a state of subtle but constant alert and inflammation throughout the body. This systemic inflammation triggers the release of signaling molecules called pro-inflammatory cytokines, such as TNF-alpha or interleukin-6. These cytokines are like little saboteurs that travel through the bloodstream and actively promote the breakdown of muscle proteins, adding more fuel to the catabolic fire of sarcopenia. Imagine a very slow, almost imperceptible fire that, day after day, consumes the structure and integrity of your muscles from within. And finally, we cannot forget the mitochondria, those tiny yet powerful energy plants found inside every one of our cells, especially in muscle cells, which are huge consumers of energy. They are responsible for producing ATP, the universal energy molecule. With aging, both the number of mitochondria and their efficiency in producing energy can drastically decrease. This phenomenon is known as mitochondrial dysfunction. For your muscles, this is a catastrophe. It means they have less fuel available to contract, to repair, and to maintain themselves. The direct result is that profound fatigue, and that feeling of a dead battery, and a reduced functional capacity that frustrates us so much. Faced with this complex picture, conventional medicine and nutrition have offered us two pillars of defense that, we must emphasize, are absolutely crucial and irreplaceable. Strength
There is no debate about
and adequate protein consumption. Resistance training, whether it's lifting weights, using elastic bands, or even just bodyweight exercises, is the most potent and direct stimulus we can send to our muscles. It's a clear command. I need you to grow and get stronger to overcome this challenge. For its part, the intake of high-quality protein provides the essential amino acids, the indispensable building blocks for that repair and growth to materialize. However, this is where the story gets interesting. Many older adults follow these recommendations to the letter. They are consistent with their routines and careful with their diet, and while they undoubtedly experience improvements, they often feel like they've hit a wall. They reach a frustrating plateau in their progress, a limit that prevents them from moving forward. They feel a piece of the puzzle is missing, an extra something, to give them the final push to return to a state of superior vitality. It is precisely in this gap that nutritional science has made absolutely fascinating discoveries in recent years, revealing that certain bioactive compounds present in foods can act as catalysts, as true amplifiers that magnify the effects of exercise and protein. And one of these compounds, present in extraordinary amounts in a very common vegetable, is set to revolutionize our understanding of muscle health in maturity. The secret is not found in an exotic vitamin imported from the other side of the world, or in a mineral with an unpronounceable name. It lies in a compound called dietary nitrate. The process is a marvel of human biology. When we consume nitrate-rich foods, beneficial bacteria living in the crypts of our tongue initiate a conversion process. They transform nitrate, whose chemical formula is NO3, into nitrite, NO2. Subsequently, when this nitrite reaches the highly acidic environment of the stomach, or when it comes into contact with body tissues that have a low oxygen level, like a muscle during exercise, it is converted into one of the most important molecules in our body. Nitric oxide is a gaseous signaling molecule, a gasotransmitter, so crucial for cardiovascular and other systems physiology that its discovery and its mechanisms of action earned scientists Robert F. Furchtgott, Louis J. Ignarro, and Farid Murad the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1998. And its effects on the muscular system are, to describe them in one word, spectacular. Its most famous and studied function is its ability to relax the smooth muscle cells that line the walls of our arteries and blood vessels, causing them to widen. For the health of your muscles, this is like liquid gold. Wider, more flexible blood vessels allow a greater volume of blood to reach the muscle tissue, both during physical exertion and during recovery periods. And this blood is not just a simple fluid, it's a high-performance delivery vehicle. It carries more oxygen, the essential fuel for aerobic energy production. It carries more key nutrients, like glucose for quick energy and amino acids for repair. And, equally important, this increased blood flow is much more efficient at removing the metabolic waste products that accumulate during muscle contraction, such as lactate and ammonia, which are the main culprits behind the sensation of burning and fatigue. It is, literally, like upgrading from a narrow, bumpy country road to a modern 6-lane superhighway for nourishing and cleansing your muscles. But the benefits of nitric oxide go far beyond simply delivering nutrients. Cutting-edge research, such as that conducted at elite institutions like Stanford University, where the eminent nutrition researcher Dr. Christopher Gardner works, has revealed that nitric oxide improves the intrinsic efficiency of our mitochondria. Remember how mitochondria are the power plants? Well, nitric oxide acts as an optimizer. It enables mitochondria to produce the same amount of energy, ATP, while using less oxygen. This phenomenon, known as improved mitochondrial efficiency, or a reduction in the oxygen cost of exercise, translates directly into greater endurance and a later onset of fatigue. Your muscles can perform the same amount of work with less effort, or work harder. Furthermore, nitric oxide plays a crucial role in regulating calcium handling within muscle cells. Every single muscle contraction is the result of an incredibly precise and rapid dance of calcium ions moving in and out of specific compartments within the cell. Nitric oxide modulates and optimizes this process, known as excitation-contraction coupling, allowing for more efficient calcium release and reuptake, which results in a stronger and more powerful muscle contraction. It's like fine-tuning a high-performance engine so that each piston moves with maximum power, precision, and speed. At this point, the question is inevitable. What is this vegetable, this natural and accessible source of nitrates that can trigger this entire amazing cascade of physiological benefits? The answer is humble, affordable, and has been present in our kitchens and cultures for centuries. Spinach. Yes, that dark green, leafy vegetable that the cartoon character Popeye made famous worldwide is, according to the most rigorous and current science, a true superfood for restoring muscle strength and function in adulthood. This is not a cartoon myth. Spinach is, gram for gram, one of the most concentrated dietary sources of nitrates we can find in nature, far surpassing many other vegetables considered healthy. A single generous portion of spinach can provide the amount of nitrates needed to significantly raise nitric oxide levels in our body and begin to reap all the benefits we've described. However, to reduce the immense power of spinach solely to its nitrate content would be a great injustice. Spinach is not a simple vehicle for a single compound. It is a nutritional matrix of astonishing complexity and synergy, where multiple vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients work as a team to boost muscle health and overall well-being. To make the magnitude of its value absolutely clear, let's break down its hidden treasures in a detailed list. Number 1. Unmatched richness in nitrates. This, as we have explained, is its main superpower and the focus of our discussion. The nitrates present in spinach are the direct precursor to nitric oxide. This increase in nitric oxide production translates into improved blood flow, optimized oxygen transport to the muscles, increased mitochondrial efficiency, and enhanced muscle contraction force. A landmark study published in the prestigious Journal of Nutrition conclusively demonstrated that participants who consumed a nitrate-rich drink, with a dose equivalent to that found in a portion of spinach, showed a significant improvement in quadriceps muscle function. They were able to exert more force with a lower oxygen cost, meaning with less perceived effort. For an older person, this laboratory-level improvement translates directly into tangible benefits in daily life: greater ease in climbing stairs without getting breathless, more power to get up from a low chair, and the ability to walk longer distances feeling more energetic and less fatigued. Number 2. Essential cofactors for muscle function. Spinach is absolutely loaded with magnesium. We often talk about proteins and vitamins, but magnesium is the unsung hero. This mineral is a crucial cofactor involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, a large portion of which are vital for proper muscle function. Magnesium is indispensable for protein synthesis, the quintessential muscle-building process. It is directly involved in energy metabolism, being fundamental for ATP production in the mitochondria. It plays a key role in the transmission of nerve impulses from the brain to the muscle fiber, and it is essential for regulating the balance between muscle contraction and relaxation, helping to prevent cramps, weakness, and spasms. Given that magnesium deficiency is surprisingly common in the older population due to changes in diet and absorption, spinach becomes an exceptional dietary source to ensure that all the muscular machinery runs smoothly. Strong, powerful muscles need a robust and resilient framework to anchor onto and exert their force. There's no point in having a powerful engine if the chassis is weak. Spinach is one of the best plant-based sources of vitamin K1, phylloquinin. Vitamin K is absolutely fundamental for bone health, as it is responsible for activating a protein called osteocalcin. Osteocalcin acts as a biological glue that is responsible for effectively binding calcium into the bone matrix, mineralizing the bone and giving it its hardness and strength. Without enough vitamin K, the calcium we consume cannot be properly incorporated into the bones, leaving them more porous, fragile, and susceptible to fractures. By strengthening the bone structure, spinach provides a solid and safe foundation for muscles to contract and generate force effectively, which in turn drastically reduces the risk of falls and injuries associated with bone fragility. Number 4. Advanced antioxidant protection. The simple act of living, breathing, and using our muscles, combined with the aging process itself, generates a phenomenon known as oxidative stress. This is caused by unstable molecules called free radicals or reactive oxygen species, ROS. These molecules are like sparks that fly out and damage everything they touch at a cellular level: the membranes of muscle cells, DNA, and particularly the mitochondria, which are very sensitive to this damage. This oxidative damage contributes directly to chronic low-grade inflammation and accelerates the muscle degradation of sarcopenia. Spinach contains high doses of vitamin C of antioxidant compounds, beta-carotene, a precursor to vitamin A, and a plethora of polyphenols and flavonoids, such as quercetin, camphorol, and lutein. All these compounds work in synergy to neutralize free radicals, protecting muscle tissue from damage, reducing inflammation, and promoting an optimal cellular environment for repair and growth processes. It's like having a sophisticated internal team of firefighters and maintenance crew that constantly extinguishes the small fires of oxidative stress before they can cause significant structural damage. Number 5. A natural anabolic boost. Here we come to a truly fascinating fact that is at the forefront of nutritional research. Spinach naturally contains steroidal compounds of plant origin called phytoecdysteroids, the most studied of which is ECDiesterone. In numerous studies conducted in laboratories and animal models, it has been observed that these compounds have surprising anabolic effects, meaning they have the ability to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, similar to how some hormones do, but through different mechanisms and without the associated side effects. Although research in humans is still in its early stages, the preliminary results are incredibly promising, and suggest that the phytoecdysteroids from spinach could contribute to an increase in muscle mass and strength, especially when their consumption is combined with a resistance training program. This represents another mechanism of action, completely distinct from that of nitrates, by which spinach could be directly contributing to building bigger, stronger, and more resilient muscle. Now that we know the what and the why in great detail, it's time to address the how. How can we effectively incorporate spinach into our daily diet to maximize its extraordinary muscular benefits? Fortunately, spinach's versatility is one of its greatest virtues. To preserve its nitrate content as much as possible, as nitrates are water-soluble and sensitive to excessive heat, eating it raw is an excellent and highly recommended option. A good handful of fresh spinach, baby or regular, in a salad, dressed with extra virgin olive oil and a splash of lemon or vinegar, is not only delicious but a nutritional powerhouse. Another fantastic way to consume it raw is by adding it to smoothies. A green smoothie combining spinach, a fruit for sweetness and energy like a banana or pineapple, and a quality protein source like Greek yogurt, kefir, or a scoop of protein powder becomes an ideal breakfast or post-workout treat, a perfect cocktail of nutrients for your muscles. Light cooking is also a perfectly valid alternative with its own advantages. Cooking spinach, for example, by quickly sautéing it with garlic or steaming it for a few minutes, this allows us to consume a much larger amount of leaves in a single serving, which can make it easier to reach the effective dose of its nutrients. However, the key is to avoid boiling it for long periods, as a significant portion of the nitrates and other water-soluble vitamins like vitamin C can leach out and be lost in the cooking water. Preparing an omelet or scrambled eggs with spinach, or adding it to soups, creams, or stews in the last few minutes of cooking are excellent ways to enjoy it cooked while preserving much of its potential. The key to success, as with almost everything related to health, is consistency. It's not about binging on spinach one day and then forgetting about it for the rest of the month. The goal should be to incorporate a generous portion, which could be about 1 cup of cooked spinach or 2 cups of raw spinach, into your daily diet, or at least several times a week. This regular and consistent intake is what will keep your nitric oxide levels elevated and provide a continuous flow of cofactors and antioxidants to your muscles. It is vitally important to emphasize one point so there are no misunderstandings. Spinach is not a magic pill or a miraculous solution that works in a vacuum. It is an incredibly potent catalyst, a top-tier strategic ally, but its true and overwhelming power is unleashed when it is integrated into an overall healthy lifestyle. I like to use an analogy. Imagine your quest for better muscle function is like constructing a building. Strength training is the crew of workers on the site, the fundamental stimulus. Adequate protein intake is the bricks, cement, and steel, the building materials without which nothing can be built. In this scenario, spinach, with its nitrates and nutritional matrix, is the architect and the project manager. It doesn't lay the bricks directly, but it optimizes the entire process. It ensures the access roads are clear for materials to arrive, vasodilation, improves the energy efficiency of the machinery, mitochondria, and protects the structure from the elements, antioxidants. The project manager does nothing if there are no workers or materials, but when everyone works together, the project is completed faster, more solidly, and more efficiently. Therefore, continue with your resistance exercise routine. Make sure you consume enough quality protein at each meal, spreading it throughout the day to combat anabolic resistance, and add spinach as your strategic ally to take your results and your vitality to a whole new level. It is also important and a sign of responsibility to be aware of some considerations. Due to its very high content of vitamin K, which is a natural coagulant, people taking anticoagulant medications like warfarin should consult their doctor before drastically increasing their spinach intake. This doesn't mean they can't eat it, but that consumption should be consistent and monitored to adjust the drug's dosage if necessary. Likewise, people with a history of calcium oxalate kidney stones should consume spinach in moderation, as it is one of the richest vegetables in oxalates, which can contribute to the formation of these stones in susceptible individuals. For the vast majority of the population, however, spinach is an extraordinarily safe, nutritious, and beneficial food. In conclusion, the battle against the loss of strength and vitality associated with age has gained a formidable, accessible, and delicious ally. Modern science is confirming with increasingly solid evidence that something as simple and within reach as regularly integrating a green leafy vegetable into our diet can have a profound and measurable impact on our muscle physiology. Spinach, through its unparalleled richness in nitrates, magnesium, vitamins, antioxidants, and other phytonutrients, offers us a multifaceted and synergistic strategy to nourish, protect, energize, and enhance our muscles. This isn't about chasing chimeras like the fountain of eternal youth, but about intelligently and evidence-based use of the tools that nature itself provides us to live more years with more strength, more independence, and above all, reclaiming the vigor of your 40s is not an unattainable fantasy, but a tangible and realistic goal that you can start building today, one plate at a time, one bite at a time.